dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Sim Racing Media at Kansas Motor Speedway on this Thursday night, December 7th, for the Racers Elite Nextgen Series. Last night we saw these same drivers, or the same league, I might say, here for the Xfinity Series. Tonight it is in the Nextgen Series. We've got a full field. I'm showing roughly 25 drivers for this event. My name's Jonathan Leach. Joining me in the booth tonight is going to be Daniel Paulus, filling in for Alan Burgeon. Daniel, we are speaking ahead of time how we both enjoy night racing. So tell me a little bit about why you think night racing is so much fun. For me, it's just something about being under the lights.
Night racing is a very very exciting to watch these race cars go around under the lights, is because you get to see the cars shining off of the lights. You get to see sparks flying sometimes too. That also gets me very pumped up when watching these races under the lights, and I just feel like it brings more energy to the track.
It does bring some more energy to the track, in my opinion. So I'm going to take a quick moment here. Let's look at the race information. Tonight it's 68 degrees out, 61% humidity. It's cloudy, but you couldn't see it because the lights are out. This track is 1.53 miles in diameter. It's kind of like a D-shaped oval. Temperature on the track surface is 70 degrees. If you care about the altitude, it's 982 feet above sea level. Qualifying is almost complete. I'll take a moment here After that, to look at the qualifying results, currently fastest time is Shelly Kitzman with a 30.35. The slowest time currently put up is a 30.98. So only 6/10 of a difference from fastest to slowest. So, excuse me, yeah, 6/10 of a difference. And the top 15 are all within 4/10 of each other. So we're going to see some very competitive racing. And I heard with the recent update that iRacing is now multi-groove and that the line is going to change during the race. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that does occur for this race tonight, Daniel. And if it does, we're going to be in for a big treat. Not just like what the Racers Elite usually puts on, but it's going to be a whole new competitive level.
It's going to be a whole new Capel level indeed, because we're used to these drivers at 1.5 mile tracks running at least one or two grooves here, but now with the new update, they're going to be running multiple grooves, and that is what I'm very excited to see how these drivers handle these new grooves and see if it can work.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how these grooves are going to work. We've got the grid on screen now. Running off with the pole tonight is going to be Shelly Kitzman, P2 Zach Lockett. Third place is going to be Austin Smith. He was runner-up finisher last night. Fourth belongs to Diego Rodriguez. Fifth is Alex Teft. Sixth place will be Andrew Teft. Seventh is Paul Shaw. Row 4 is going to be AJ Cawthon and Brandon Honeycutt. Row 5, you're looking at Dennis Kane and Jeremy Carter. Row number 6 is going to be Nigel Christensen, Kinsley Smith. Starting 14th is John Schlombachler, and 15th is Jason Bottoms. Row 8 is going to be Ira Collis and Truth Hokie. Joshua Neal and Michael Smith are 18th and 19th. 20th, Sam Collis. Sean Lorbeski rolls off 21st. 22nd is going to be Gordon Spain in the number 3 machine. James Smith in number 64. Evan Clapper starts this race 24th. 25th is Corey Crowell, Thomas Stanley, and rounding out the field for 27 total drivers tonight, you're going to be looking at Lucas Seamers. And so that's going to be our field tonight, folks. You got 27 drivers this evening. Really looking forward to seeing 27 drivers on this racetrack. It's going to be a lot of fun. Daniel, I'm glad you're here. And again, we are in for a real treat tonight.
A real treat we are, for sure. And this is a 1.5 mile track. We've seen different grooves be used, but we're going to see new ones tonight as well. Now, one fact that I found very interesting here on iRacing is after 2 seconds of fall off of tire wear here at Kansas, and that is after we have our full fuel run. Now, if we do have a full fuel run, it's saying we do have 2 whole seconds off of tire wear. We're going to have to see how tires do affect tonight's race, but also it does come down to strategy as well.
Yeah, I am curious to see how strategy is going to look here for this event. It's going to be rather entertaining. Looking forward to it. We're about to be underway here in just a couple moments, as we're only got one pace lap. The car that sticks out to me is that Diego Rodriguez machine, that 24 Pepsi scheme. It's just such a great look. I really, really enjoy the look of that machine. All right, pace car is off. We are underway here at Kansas. Underneath the lights, Shelly Kitzman, Zach Lockett. The top 3, single file. Fourth is going to be Austin Smith. Into turn number 1, side-by-side battle back here for 7th. You've got Andrew Teft, the number 25 of Paul Shaw, and Dennis Kane in the mix. A little further back, kind of fanning out, all side-by-side, driving on lap number 1.
See right there, 29 of Ira Colahas running that top groove right there. Something we don't see here typically in the first few laps. Usually they're running that inside line, but that outside groove is pretty well.
I'm curious to see how these grooves come in over the course of 134 laps here at Kansas. Kansas is always a lot of fun to drive because It is kind of unique. It's sort of wide, and you will see a couple different lanes. I always sort of, back when I used to race, I really enjoyed right up on the wall, and then I would try to kind of dive down into the bottom groove right here, as you see where Joshua Neal's currently running. That's just sort of the way that I thought about it. Look at all this congestion right here down the front stretch.
Going 3, 4 wide heading into turn one. Very risky here in the opening laps, but everybody's filing through clean. As you see where the 9 on the outside line getting a huge run there, getting very loose out turn 2, keeps it straight as he's going to take the position away from the 15. But here comes the 15 of Kensley Smith working on the inside of the 9.
I think we're going to see a lot of side-by-side and racing action. I'm not expecting the field to get extremely spread out tonight. I am curious to see what those fall-off times are going to look like that you were mentioning. There was a 3-wide pass. The number 94 machine, Evan Clapper, getting by, Jason Bottoms, and the number 59 machine of Hokie. Looks like that's a Casey's, like the convenience store paint scheme, or Casey's Pizza. I was a little bit wrong about that. It's a really great looking car, and something that's awesome about this league, and we touch on it every time that I'm in the booth, is these paint schemes. Up front, though, back to a battle to the lead here. Lap 5, Zach Lockett, the number 93, Tennessee Titans machine, out in front over Shelly Kitzman and the number 1. But don't look now, Austin Smith, last night's runner-up in the 23. Had a lot of speed right there. I do think he backed off a bit trying to run the high lane, looking for second.
23 of Austin Smith trying to get a run past the 1 of Shelly Kitzman side by side heading into turn 1. But it looks like 23's going to have the advantage here.
You know, I do like the high lane here, especially early, because you just kind of take away some track space to really get on the throttle. As you see, Kitzman's going to move back to third. Under siege now from Alex Teft and the number 43 Club Wyndham machine. I also noticed that Air Force symbol on the left rear quarter panel. That's always nice to see.
Very nice paint schemes here at Kansas. Top 4 really pulling away from the pack here. As you see, they're all running that top groove there in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, sort of expecting to see. I wonder how the driver's a little further back, about a second behind that group, that 24 Ford Mustang, Pepsi machine, Diego Rodriguez. He's seeming to run a little bit lower down on track, it appears, but we'll watch and see here. I know the track, I can't speak for it now, but it could bait you into using up your tires. Those people that are watching the race that drive much more than me, please let me know if that's changed with current updates. But I know that the track used to drive, it drives really good, it drives really good, it drives really good, and then all of a sudden the tires are just gone. So let me know if that's how the track still goes. I would appreciate it for a little bit of insight, since it's been quite a while since I've personally been racing on the service. Right, here's some more side-by-side action. 94, the number 15, Evan Clapper, Kinsley Smith. That's a battle for 10th place. Kinsley Smith is up 30 positions. And then Evan Clapper, biggest mover right now, up 14 spots currently in his battle for 10th.
One driver I want to focus on is Braden Honeycutt in the 13 Toyota Camry. Didn't really have a great week last week. We really thought he would be up in the top 5 for the most part of the day. Right now, he's currently 13th, just 2 positions out of the top 10. I expect to see him later on in this race inside the top 5 or top 10. As you see back here a little further in the back of the pack, we have the 59, 57 battling side by side coming down the back straightaway. 59's going to have the advantage there. That is Truth Hope.
A lot of congestion right here. Like I mentioned, I expected to see it. We're at lap 10. Lap times have fallen off only about, well, we'll call it about 3/10 in 10 laps. So that's quite a bit, I should say, in a course of 10 laps. I think that'll stabilize maybe around a second of fall off, but we'll know closer to 30 laps here what we're going to be looking like under the lights. Let's take a moment and go on board with Paul Shaw right here and see how he's driving this racetrack. Seems to be taking a high lane. You see there's a lot of congestion up here. Just kind of easy on the throttle. You hear him all the way back on the throttle right now, all the way down to the apron. slowly back up to the top of the racetrack. So,
Yeah, really using that middle and top lane here, not using that inside lane. I really thought most of these drivers would start out on the inside lane, work their way up till they got more group. Not group, a grip, my bad. But you see most of these drivers using that top lane where it feels a lot more comfortable to them. But it looks like the outside lane's having an advantage here and making passes.
I'm trying to take a moment here and check on what the standings look like going into this one. Trying to pull those up right now, so I'll have how the standings looked coming into this race here in a few moments. But right now we got a 3-wide battle back here between number 4 machine, as well as the 94 and the number 29. Dennis Kane, Clapper, and then Ira Colas. A big move down to the bottom right there, and you're seeing a lot of different grooves. You know, Daniel, we talked about that. I'm seeing people really look all over the place for grip. Dennis Kane up to the top right there. He's going to kind of defend his position by taking the drive off from the machines behind him away.
And you see a lot of these drivers in the turns trying to set themselves up for a good corner exit so they can side draft their other partner going down the back straightaway or coming even onto the front straightaway, trying to side draft to gain positions here. And that's where you're going to see a lot of these position changes.
All right, and I told you folks that I was going to talk about some standings right here. Currently leading the standings, it's Alex Teff, 2 starts on the season. In the Nextgen series, 2 wins, so he's a batting 100% with 95 total points. He's earned 3 bonus points. Second place currently in the standings is Andrew Teff with 83 points, 1 bonus point. Austin Smith is in third with 81 points. The top 5, Kinsley Smith, Joshua Neal. From there, the standings start to kind of drop down quite a bit. People are about 9 and 10 points back or more going through the field. Daniel, I'll tell you what, if you're going to join a league, if you're listening, I would definitely have a full endorsement. As number 94 right there, that's Evan Clapper, ends up in the wall a little bit in the corner trying to make the pass on the 29. But this is the league I would join. They run 4 races a week. It's all extremely well organized. Great racing. Seems to be lots of respect on track. This is the place to be.
You want to be in leagues that have a lot of respect, clean drivers that race against you, not a lot of toxicity, because it's just not fun at that point. But this is a great league to join. They are hard racers. They dedicate themselves to come each and every week with their race cars and try to compete for wins and a championship. And that's what we're seeing out of these drivers right now.
Number 59 machines in the wall. So tires must be starting to be a little bit of a struggle. We're starting to see a bit of a tightness starting to loom for these machines.
Tire wear can be coming into play right now, as you see some drivers having a little difficulty heading into the turns, getting up into the wall there. But I mean, that's what's going to happen here on these 1.5-mile tracks. You do see tire wear start falling off around lap 20 and 25.
You're certainly not wrong. So best lap times, the top 3, their best lap times were in the 30.4 range. They're now running the 30.9s. Other drivers are already in the 31s, 31.3s, 4s. And then further back in the field, we're seeing even in the high 30, 31.9 second laps, which is quite a bit slower than the leaders. So at lap 20, the tires have fallen off about a second towards the back of the field and about a half second more towards the front, depending how well you hang on to your tires.
And these drivers who are being a little bit aggressive on this first half of the race, they are going to have the most tire wear affecting them, and especially your leader right now, because he wants to try to keep that lead and extend that lead. So he's going to probably have the most tire wear out of everybody.
Daniel, that normally I would I'm not sure if I would agree to that with because typically that clean air can help you conserve your tires, and Austin Smith seems to be running the most consistent times of anyone on track.
That could also be a factor here. When you're in clean air, it doesn't really affect that tire wear as much. But I also have seen a few drivers who were in clean air and their tire wear have gone away tremendously. And I believe that is because they're running a lot harder at some of these other tracks that we race at. But it's certain that some of these other tracks that we do go to, like Kansas, when you're in the clean air, just like you mentioned, John, it doesn't really affect as much.
Gotcha. I'm glad to know what your thoughts are right there. Here we are a little bit further downward, lap 23 of 134. Race time only been about 11 minutes since the drop of the green flag. A lot of close racing, respectful racing, battle for the lead. Once again, Kitzman back up here, so tire wear could have been an issue for the leader comparatively, as Kitzman's going to go right around on the bottom. We're going to see how long Kitzman can hang on to this. I take that back. We're still in a battle side by side down the backstretch.
Kitzman battling side by side right there with the 23 of Austin Smith for the lead, but don't count out the 93 of Zach Lockett as he is gaining ground on these two battling side by side coming down the front straightaway.
If Zach Lockett catches these guys the right way, it definitely could be a two for one. It's not going to work out. He's going to have to get off the throttle a little bit, do the side-by-side racing.
As you see him going down the back straightaway at 93, closing the one of Shelly Kitzman, going behind the 23 of Austin Smith.
Wow, real close right there down the front stretch, crossing the start-finish line, starting lap 26.
Still battling very hard between Austin Smith and Shelly Kitzman. But that Zach Lockett knows if something does happen, he will get this lead here. And one little mistake, John, could cost them the lead.
Very well could. Some other battles a little further back here. Battle for 10th. You got AJ Cawthon, Paul Shaw, number 4 of Dennis Kane. These guys are within a tenth of a second. Battle much like the lead, just a little bit further back in the field. 3 cars locked in, back and forth. And very, very similar to what's going on up front, as Dennis Kane almost into the wall right there in turn 1, keeps out of it. 25 machine, Paul Shaw looking to the bottom, but it seems like none of these guys can just get the run they need to get away from each other.
It really doesn't. And when you're in the draft, they do have drafts here on the back and front straightaway. When they have that draft, they have such big runs that they can go around the other driver no problem. But you just have to set up yourself for that run. But you see most of the pack here in the back now spreading out a little bit. You see the 24 using that middle groove. That is Diego Rodriguez.
Well, I want to focus on Rodriguez, because as we were following this battle up here, he did get into the wall a little bit. Didn't hurt his momentum too much, but as we're seeing the 82 Joshua Neal go by, it seemed like it was almost with ease. I wonder if there's some right front damage now to that, that number 24 machine. I can't see any in that image right there, but there very well could be a little bit of aero damage after getting in the wall.
Aero damage does play in a factor here. If you have a little bit of damage on that aero, it can mess up your draft. It can mess up how your car handles. So you want to try not to get too much damage on these cars.
Yeah, and then the 24 continuing to go backwards as Honeycutt's right there, and we also saw Corey Crowell go by. Going back to the front here, it looks like this is a little bit more stabilized. Kitzman's out front, Lockett and Smith is now in third. You got Teft and Teft battling for 4th. Of course, Alex Teft winning the last 2 races on Thursday nights. And Andrew Teft, I could have misspoken right there. Let me double check. Yeah, Alex Teft winning the last 2 races. Andrew Teft but second in points. In 2 top 5s. So these two are very familiar with being up front. As one, Alex Teft is in the wall a little bit right there in the Club Wyndham machine. It's going to hurt his momentum just a bit. I don't think it was enough to hurt the car, though.
Not enough to hurt the car, but it did break his momentum there. Not a lot of damage on that car. It was just a little tap, nothing to worry about there.
So a little bit further back in the field, you got a battle between the 15 and
Oh,
the
he's in the
number
wall.
10. A little further back here. Wow, you saw that right there, Gordon Spain. He's fighting that machine. I felt like it was about to break loose, be a little sideways coming out of the corner, held on to it. Let's see what it looks like out of turn 2. Not as bad out of that corner. Let's take a second look at the track info. I can imagine. Oh, the 57 tries to come down pit road. I think Jason Bottoms got slowed up enough to make that. So pit stop starting now, lap 33 of 134. Jason Bottoms comes down. So who's going to be next? Who up front's going to be the next one to pit?
Well, now that you're seeing drivers come down pit road, that's going to play in the drivers' minds that are up running in the front right now. Are they thinking probably, hey, since these other guys are coming down pit road, do we want to come down right away? Well, I do expect the other drivers in the front to start making that decision and come down pit road now that they see other drivers making that service stop.
Yeah, we'll have to wait a few more laps because unfortunately, I'm not certain what our fuel run looks like this evening. We will know quickly once these guys start coming down pit road. And I can't imagine they can go too much further based on what we just saw right there. But we will know quickly. And we know that Bottoms did take 4 tires. Currently scored last. Thomas Stanley and the number 462 machines coming down pit road as well. So I don't think it's going to be too much longer. I think you might want to try to get to around like lap 42 or so and make this kind of a 3-lap race. Or excuse me, a 3-stop race is what I would be trying to do personally. Do a little
I would
quick math
totally
here.
agree on that too.
Yeah, get to 42 or 44 and it's a 3-stop race. I'm not sure if the cars can get that far yet, but and that's, wow, I got quite the gaggle right here with Dennis Kane, and you got Schlombachler in here. Corey Crowell's on the move up 12 positions. Wow, they're all over each other right there. That
Very
was a
tight
wreck, and it
battle.
just didn't happen. Holy cow.
See right there, the 9 of John Schockbachler. Right in front of him is Paul Shaw in that 25, but he gets around the 82 of Joshua O'Neill now, falling back to 12th position.
Another driver coming in, Lucas Seamers, the number 42 Ford Mustang. Didn't get to that 44 number that I would be wanting to get to. Battle up here, Andrew Tepps found his way up to 3rd. Alex Tepp right there with him. Zach Lockett step for step with Shelly Kitzman, only half a second back.
See right there, the 93 of Zach Lockett, currently P2. Right in front of him is Shelly Kitzman. Very strong driver, no matter what track we're at. She just nails it. She knows the lines. She's just doing a very great job.
All right, only a few more laps before I think we're really going to start seeing guys come down pit road. Race time only 20 minutes, and we're about a third of the way through this one. Go. All right, at this point, I'm not sure what things look like. Look forward to asking drivers at the end of the race what it's going to be. But if they get to 44, that tells me this is going to be a three-stop event.
If they do get the lap 44, it will be a 3-stop event no matter what. Now the question is, can they? Probably. But we're just got to see what these drivers do. As you see right now, Aaron Kohlhaas.
Kinsley Smith now down pit road on lap 41, maybe a little short pit here. We're going to see what the leaders do.
There's Shelly Kitzman going in turns 1 and 2 with the 93 Zach Lockett right behind her. We'll see what these top two do.
Yeah, we'll see coming around. I want to mention that while you're out right now, wow, lots of avoiding right there. If you're out on old tires, you're giving up a second and a half a lap to the guys on new tires. Now, at the end of this next run, you'll get that back, but what you don't know is is it going to be a long run, or is there going to be a caution that's going to bite you? More drivers coming down the pit road right now. The leader went around again. I bet we're going to see the leader come by this time or the next time. And you don't want to be short pitted by the guy behind you, being Zach Lockett. Start seeing if these guys are trying to set up to get down pit road. Doesn't look like it right here. They're not going to pit. We got another pitter. That's Truth Hoke, the number 59 machine. So they don't come by this time. This time the window's open. This is a 3-stop race if you're splitting it into 44 laps. But I can make an argument for staying out a little bit longer if you wanted up front here, so you run less laps on your older tires, especially if you're out front.
See right there, the one of Shelly Kitzman having a huge gap now on the 93 is Zach Lockett.
Here we go, more down. Dennis Kane, AJ Cawthon down pit road. More drivers. I think that's Diego Rodriguez, Jeremy Carter. So 4 pit road machines. Let's see what the leader does. And it looks like the leader's coming down this time. The number 1 coming down pit road. That's going to bring Lockett, Nigel Christensen, and a whole bunch of other drivers down pit road. Alex Tept is going to assume the race lead. Schoenbachler will be second. Everyone's going to cycle through. Lots of takers.
You saw right there as that pack was coming onto pit road. You saw the 18 there getting very loose. Collects it up well and continues to make his service stop. That was Christensen right there in the 18 Toyota.
All right, Alex Tept coming down pit road. You see Sean Laborski coming down pit road in front of him, a lap behind pretty much in the number 17 Ford Mustang. Brandon Honeycutt now, the driver, the number 13. You kind of mentioned him earlier. He's still out on track, as well as James Smith and Sam Kohlhaas. Kohlhaas coming down pit road this time. How long will Honeycutt and Smith stay out? That's what I want to know.
That's the question everybody's wondering right now. How long will they stay out? Well, you see the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt right now in the lead, running on old tires, and eventually it's not going to work anymore because the people on the new tires are going to gain so much on him. But, I mean, I don't know how long you could run here. As you see the 10 car now of James Smith coming down pit road to get service.
Yeah, so both drivers down pit road. The whole field has now been on pit road. It's going to recycle to Kitzman, who has a 3.1 second lead over Nigel Christensen and the number 18 Skittles machine.
Has a nice gap there. Currently going to the top of the leaderboard right now after, again, his service done. Nice Skittles paint scheme on an 18 machine.
It's definitely a great looking car. Battle back here now. You got Andrew Teft and Clapper. And that's a battle for 7th place, back and forth right here. 94 is Evan Clapper. Biggest mover, we've seen him up a little bit more than 8th, really trying to get by here. Same pit stop for these two drivers.
Right there in the 94 and 6 battling side by side. See the 23 there of Austin John Smith having a great run tonight. See, he is now past the 57 there.
Yeah, lots of congestion still on track. We're at lap 50 and these drivers just can't seem to really get away from each other. The whole field isn't bottled up, but there's pockets. You got 3 drivers here. You've got a couple drivers more towards the back, kind of by themselves. But up front, there's just kind of pockets of cars, a couple bus links apart. Really everybody within the striking distance, except for the leader with a near 4-second gap over Nigel Christensen. The only thing I can think here is that Kitzman got a much better pit road entry and exit than all the other drivers that came down pit road.
And that's the thing. You don't want to make any mistakes. You don't want to speed. You don't want to speed coming in or speeding coming out of pit road, because getting a penalty here, that will literally destroy your whole momentum. But, you know, it's all about having a good pit stop.
Now, a lot of iRacing races are won and lost on pit road entry and pit road exit. Who can be more aggressive, get the car to stick, and really be on the throttle coming off pit road?
Well, you know, some of these drivers, John, you know, when they're coming in pit road, they want to get as close as possible to each other. You know, you want to be right on the guy's bumper, so then you could be right on the guy's bumper, potentially get off the pit road in front of them. So you don't want to have a huge gap coming on pit road, because it's just going to hurt you.
That's true, and we're showing Corey Crowell on screen right now. He just put down the fastest lap of the race at a 30.25. That is the fastest lap by more than 1/10 and a half. So Corey Crowell showing some speed here as we're closing in on the halfway portion of the race. Still about 15 laps away from that. Almost been racing for 30 minutes. Lots of really great, clean racing. Lots to be proud of. So let's go through the field here for a moment and talk about the driver details. Kitzman driver, the number 1 machine, been out front for the most part of this race, with a 4.5-second gap back to Nigel Christensen out of Cedar Rapids. You can see he drives a couple different car numbers as well. Alex Teft about to come looking for him, Hope Valley, Rhode Island, but under siege by Zach Lockett, who's out of Vestal, New York. Tennessee Titans, Chevy Camaro. Austin Smith out of Burlington, Wisconsin. We've got Evan Clapper, that's North Carolina, out of Raleigh. Or Raleigh. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm not from Carolina, unfortunately. Or either Carolina, that is. Andrew Teft, also out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island. Currently scored P7. We've seen him battling for the lead. Now, Daniel, this one's an interesting one. AJ Cawthon, out of Rochester Hills, Michigan. And if you know, I am in northern Michigan, so that's kind of neat to see. And notice passion, precision, professionalism. That's a good way to describe this league and the racing style that we're seeing out of this driver. Jason Bottoms.
We haven't seen the driver up here in the top 10 a lot, but he's doing a fantastic job tonight. He's proven to us that he can race with these other drivers, so that's what is really meaning behind these drivers in these leagues.
Yeah, Jason Bottoms, the number 57. Looks like a Mountain Dew machine. Interesting paint scheme. It's kind of orange, white, and black. Kind of an abstract style to it. I'm not so sure what the hood says. Try to get a closer look. But going a little further back to Dennis Kane in a battle right here. This is a battle for 10th. Dennis Kane is in Detroit, Michigan, also downstate from me. Locked in a battle with, I think he's actually driving around some lapped traffic. So I'm not going to call that a battle. We got Corey Crowell out of Oak Harbor, Ohio. So a lot of Midwesterners here in the Racers Elite Cup Series, or Next Gen Series. John Schoenbachler, number 9, Coors Light. I do like that scheme. You got the little mountains there for Coors Light down the bottom by the rocket panel. Paul Shaw, number 25, Pennsylvania. Check out his Twitch, twitch.tv, Cobalt_2825. Again, that's Cobalt_2825. That's Paul Shaw, Wind Creek Toyota. Really nice scheme. I like that red and that black. It looks it's very, let's call it sleek.
It meshes together.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. It meshes well together. Joshua Neal, currently 14th out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 82. Machine up 4 positions since the start of this one. Now Brandon Honeycutt, pitted lap 47, pitted on the last possible lap, currently down 6 positions for the 13 Toyota, but I think those extra couple laps are what caused that, and that might be beneficial later down the line if he could be patient on his set of tires. Jeremy Carter, Bloomington, Indiana. Driver the number 26 Chevrolet. I like the neon green. Alien Gear is the side sponsor of this machine. And I want to assume that that could be the sponsor on the hood. Try to get a look at that right there. Actually, I don't think that's the case. But just a very sleek looking race car machine. Of course, leads us back to the 24, Diego Rodriguez, who's been in the wall a couple times, scored 17th. Started up front, is struggling a little more than he would like, I imagine. He's out of Adrian, Michigan. I've got a friend that lives in Adrian, Michigan. So again, Michigan's represented here for Racers Elite. James Smith right behind him, trying to chase him down for the 17th position. Kinsley Smith's out of Tarboro, North Carolina. What a place to be for race car fans and drivers. Truth Hoke scored 20th. We got a car driver coming down pit road, Austin Smith. Coming down pit road early. I wonder what's the cause of this unscheduled stop. Pretty much through our field right here. Thomas Stanley's out of Buffalo. Sean Lorbeski. Michael Smith rounds out the field out of Burlington, Wisconsin. But curious to see what's going on right here. Austin Smith putting on another set of tires, so maybe just trying to short pit the field here. I want to see if this is going to work out for him. Back on the throttle all by his lonesome. Scored 22nd right now. Going back out on track. Kitzman coming around. What we're wondering to see. There he is, going right by Austin Smith. Austin Smith should be a little bit faster. So, but you're in the lucky dog position right here. Curious to wonder or know what led to that. So maybe we'll get the opportunity to talk with Austin Smith after this. I'm just very curious as to why the pit stop now. But I guess if you don't do something different, you may not win the race.
That is very true. But that was a very unfortunate pit stop that we never saw coming. So it would be nice to find out that information later on. As you see right there, the 43 of Alex Teffs using that high lane, but the 18 of Nigel Christensen right on the back bumper of the 43, trying to get around him.
Yeah, things a little bit calmer now than they were earlier in this race. During the race, I'd call this about the halfway mark. 35 minutes of racing, all green flag racing tonight. No cautions. I expect maybe we'll see one at some point in this event. I can't say for sure on that with what we're seeing tonight, as these two drivers get awfully close together. That's Joan Schloenbacher, Bachler right there, and I believe that's number 80 machine next to him. I can't get quite no, it's the number 30 of Sam Kolos right there. That 3 looks a lot like an 8 in that font that the machine is running. Try to get a good look at it right here. Harley Davidson machine. Very little gap right there to tell that that's a 3.
See right there. Battle between
Dogs, go! Go!
the 9 of John Sharkbachler and the 4 right there of Dennis Kane battling. See the 4 of Dennis Kane getting around the 9, now battling with the 20, trying to get to his bumper.
Yeah, we're starting to see some pretty, we'll call it some usual end of the or middle race, kind of the lull that we talk about that's coming around right there, is sort of what we're seeing happening right here. Sorry about the little the moment that I had to kind of get off script a little bit. I had an issue here inside, we'll call it the virtual booth, so I really apologize about that, folks. But y'all are animal lovers, I'm sure that y'all understand as well. So up front, Kidsman, gosh, just really stepping away. 5.5 seconds now over Zach Lockett and Nigel Christensen.
See right there, a nice battle between Zach Lockett, Nigel Christensen, and Alex Teff there, but the 43 is going to help the 93. Now that 93 is going to have to go and see where this 18 is going to go. You see the 18 hugging that inside line there, trying to get a run here. He's going to get past the 43, but that 43 is going to have the draft and momentum, so they're going to be side by side going into turn 1.
Yeah, what a battle we're seeing right here. And this isn't even for the lead. This is the type of battle you would expect to see for the lead, but that's not what's going on. This is for second, folks. And you've got the 94, Evan Clapper. Man, this guy, you know, he just keeps slowly climbing. 19 positions on the night for Evan Clapper. But we're going to go back to this battle right here as you got Christensen looking to the inside of the 43. The 43 stuck because of Zach Lockett. Dives down low, side by side with Lockett. Where's Christensen going to go? These guys are just back and forth, multiple different grooves, taking away the line from each other, and they're just finding another one to keep exchanging blows.
They are, and you know, the more battling that they are going to do, that's going to pull that 94 of Evan Clapper even closer. As you see right now, the 18 on the inside of the 93 is Zach Lockett in turn 4. Caution is out.
Oh, and that's what it was. I just saw it right there. Number 94, Clapper involved. There you go, side by side right there, Clapper and Teft. Ooh, that. I didn't like the look of that one.
Looks like he's got a broken toe link on that car.
I'm going to back it up a little bit here. It looks like these guys were back and forth a lot. It starts really about right back here, you know, so you've got Andrew Teft, you got Clapper. These guys are kind of on top of each other, racing really aggressively right here. It's right up on each other, a little bit of a nudge. You know, Teft is here trying to get past. Clapper's trying to hang on to the position. You get real close here, turn 1. Really close. Door a little bit from Clapper. They're on each other, back and forth, still kind of touching. They're off of each other right here, and I don't think that. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I absolutely really frustrating right here, but I don't think that had to be a wreck. You know, but I could be wrong. You know, I don't know. I wasn't driving the machine, and I do know that at times when you're trying to correct it, the cars can separate, and you could be counter steering in the opposite direction, of course, and that leads you to end up in the car that's on your outside. Go on board with with these guys right here. I want to get on board with Evan Clapper. Should be on board with Clapper here. They're kind of in the wall, back and forth here. That's just a big hit. That's unfortunate. So that's our first caution of the night. Not too much longer after we were discussing how many there would be. Now I tell you what, who this looks good for. This looks really good for Austin Smith, who had just pitted a little bit before. And he's also back down on pit road, so I'm not sure what's why he came back down pit road. I almost feel like I would have stayed out there. I mean, it was only 5 or 6 laps, right? That he was out.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I would have stayed out. I don't know why he decided to come down pit road again, but right there you see the one of Shelly Kitzman having an excellent night tonight. Right behind her, you see we have the 43 of Alex Teff, and right behind him, we have the 25 of Paul Shaw, who's currently P3. All of these drivers inside the top 10 having an excellent run tonight here from Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas always produces some really good racing, and we're seeing a lot of that. Some aggressive racing, and you know how I don't know, aggressive racing and close racing, and that's what makes it so entertaining to watch. It's a lot of fun whenever when you get to see races like this.
They're very fun to watch. You like to see these tight battles between the leader throughout the pack. You want to see some aggressive moves, and that's what makes the racing here very unique at Kansas. You get to see a lot of these different lanes getting chosen here. See drivers running the inside, hugging that white line, or using that outside groove, literally right against the outside wall. So it's very unique, the race here at Kansas, and you do see very close finishes too. Because I remember the last time I was at Kansas, John, it was literally a drag race to the line, and they had to look at the replay to decide the winner.
All right. So after that long run right there of green flag racing, we got our caution out of the way. We're going to see if there's going to be more or not, but what we're doing now is we're bunching the field back up. And if you remember how much of a gaggle we saw, these drivers were really bunched together for quite a long time. Pace car comes down into the restart zone. Kitzman Teft erased that gap that Kitzman had to second, but what a restart for Kitzman. Battle side by side, and what a push right back here out of the number 93 Zach Lockett machine.
Kitzman having a great restart. You see right there, 93 of Zach Lockett also having a good run here. He's going to go to the outside lane, but look at the 11 of AJ Coffin battling side by side with the 20 of Corey Carell going into turn 3.
And we're going to see racing everywhere. We're just going to try to kind of flow through to see how it's happening. You got the 82 of Kane and Joshua Neal. This is a battle for 8th. But as you look back on the track, you just see close racing everywhere. So we're coming to lap 80 here. Still not quite to the third of the race remaining, but there is definitely a lot of closeness going on, and so a lot of intense battling, and I think we're going to see this for the remainder of the race.
I think we're also going to see a lot of tight battles going on, like you mentioned, John, throughout the rest of this race. Don't forget, we're already past.
Oh, they are wrecking everywhere.
Oh, 24. Heavy damage to that machine.
Multiple drivers involved in this one. We're going to try to back it up and see what happened this time.
multiple drivers here in this incident with a lot of front end damage to those cars. Not expecting that on that restart, John.
No, I'm not really sure. We just that was a little bit. That's just a wild way. I see it just like his car stops, and then he gets tapped from behind right there, and then everybody else gets collected. All right, so that's caution number 2. We're gonna get these guys kind of back together here and try to do this again.
All right, you see most of these drivers now under caution here.
I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, Thursday, December 7th. 82 years ago, December 7th, quite an important date. Not going to talk too much about that because it's been a long time and it was a rough day, but today in history 82 years ago was quite an interesting and bad day for Americans, we'll say. But back to the racing here, lap 82. Probably back to racing on lap 84 here in just a couple moments, is what I'm assuming. Still a lot of drivers in this race. I just hate it for number 18, really racing well up front, and just still not really sure what caused that hiccup. It's like the 18 ended up on the brakes, and just not sure.
Very unfortunate situation here, but we are seeing great racing going on here, and the one of Shelly Kitzman dominating this performance here tonight from Kansas, which doesn't surprise me because last week she was dominating as well, but unfortunately, was in an incident and didn't finish as she pleased. But usually is Jack Kansas running very well, and the 20 of Corey Corral also running very strong. Right behind him, I also want to mention the 11 of AJ Coffin, another driver that we haven't seen in the top 10 in a lot of these races, running very well tonight here at Kansas.
That's really good to see these drivers up front. But still, we have a huge field tonight, and any number of things can happen. Pace lights are out. We'll be coming to lap 84. Kitzman, Lockett, Alex Teft, Corey Crowell, AJ Cawthon. Corey Crowell's our largest mover right now, up 21 positions in that 20 machine. Outside, restarting 4th here. And we're just about to the 2/3 of this race complete mark. And I think we still have plenty of fireworks to go. All right, back on this race as Kitzman gets another excellent restart. Seems to kind of catch everybody sleeping every time. Teft, wow, look at that. A bus length, more than a bus length for first to second. Battle is now once again for second between Teft, Crowell, Lockett. Crowell looking to the inside now, the number 93. Down to the apron. Will he be able to compete this pass? Not going to have a lot of room to throttle up.
See right there, you saw the 43 go round, the 20 of Corey Corral. Now 43 up to second, making big moves here. That's Alex Teft. Can he get up to the one of Shelly Kitzman?
Well, you definitely had to clear him quickly to have an opportunity to go up there, because when you're battling amongst yourselves, Kitzman's just going to step away. We've seen Kitzman with all the speed, and so you've got to be able to go solo to go catch up to that car. And unfortunately, you're also in dirty air, and it seems like that clean air out front is very, very helpful for the Nextgen cars here at Kansas.
They sure are, and I'm actually liking this new update. You're seeing a lot of drivers using different lanes, which is very helpful and makes racing more exciting.
we're seeing some really, in my opinion, awesome racing. Like I said, these guys can't get away from each other. Large gaggle of machines, and we're going to see this for the rest of the race. Lots of people all over the place. Wow, it's a really awesome view right there. We're going to have these guys come around in just a moment. Coming out turn number 4, we'll see Kitzman. Here comes the field. I think that's a really great view, and you can really see how close these guys are and how fast they are actually moving. So they're there and they were gone. In fact, we waited on the cars longer than we could see them.
They go pretty fast here, you know. They're going at least 185, 190 miles per hour here around Kansas Motor Speedway. So as it may not look like they're going fast, they actually are.
We're going to see what Kitzman's speed is going into the corner here. Down the front stretch, I'm showing 188, 189, 190, 192. I saw 192 miles an hour into turn number 1 for Kitzman. Teff doing a good job hanging with Kitzman this time around. A little bit older tires for the restart. And right now, it seems like the top 4 are all step for step.
Right there, the 93 Zach Lockett currently in the 3rd position. Hasn't leave that 3rd position most of the night. Doing an excellent job here.
Got some motion and movement back here with the 82, Joshua Neal and AJ Cawthon, Dennis Kane in the mix. I feel like we're always mentioning Dennis Kane because he can't seem to get away from a conflict on track. Conflict just being a battle for position, I might add. There's Andrew Teff, the number 6. We saw him in earlier trouble. Clean race car back out there. Currently scored 12th, trying to make up ground to get back up towards the front.
A lot of great battles throughout this pack. You see right there the 29 of Aaron Cole and Haas having a decent night tonight.
Well, we've seen both Ira and Sam Colas be towards the front, towards the rear. They're sitting 18th, 19th. They're trapped a lap down is the issue right now. They might be a couple laps down. I have to wait to see timing and scoring update to be certain of that. But you know, they're running a clean race. Yep, they're trapped a single lap down. They will have the opportunity perhaps for a wave around if another caution comes out, which I would take, and then hope that there will be more trouble so you can get back on the same pit cycle with the rest of these guys.
You always want to be on the same pit cycle with other drivers. You don't want to be alone, because if you come down pit road alone, you know you're not going to be with a drafting partner on back and front straightaway. So that is always a sign you want to go with a group of cars down pits.
Yeah, you know, I don't think that's going to come into play at this point. I mean, yeah, we will have one more pit stop, I guess. Let's see, 74, 40. So around 110, these drivers are going to have to pit. But kind of with the level of racing, the aggression we're starting to see, I'm expecting maybe one more caution where these guys will be able to come in, get serviced, and it'll be just a race to the end. And what you have after that stop is what you have.
Yeah, after that last service stop, you get what you get. You know, you have to try your best to handle with your car. You see, we're going on lap 95 already, so these laps are going to wind down very quickly after this last pit stop goes by. So you want to try to gain as many positions as possible.
Yeah, we're going to see, still hanging on to this top 4 here is top 3 is Corey Crowell, running lap time step for step, just kind of waiting. You know, I'm not seeing any haymakers thrown by Crowell as we're coming back and forth, and it's almost like Crowell's letting these guys use up their stuff, which I would call a good strategy. Almost in the wall right there out of turn number 4, though, which would have ended everything. Trying to get by Lockett right here on the outside. The Alex Teff machine has sort of in his way. Andrew Teff is slowly coming back to the front. Up to 8th place, running faster than the top 4. Excuse me, the top 4 routinely. So slowly working his way back up here to these drivers.
Going on lap 97 here. See right there, 93 of Zach Lockett. Now behind the 20 of Corey Corral, falling outside the top 3.
And you know what happened right there is you had Teft and Corral to his outside, and you saw Diego Rodriguez right there on the 24 Mustang. And he had to get out of the throttle, and it looked like he had to use some brake, kill his momentum to prevent from washing up into these two guys and causing a big wreck. That 24 machine Rodriguez just out there logging laps after being a part of that last caution. That beat up machine. You know, last race I called, I remember his car and him getting into some trouble too. I think that was the season opener, if I remember correctly. So, 2 rough races to start the year. That's not ideal for Rodriguez.
And when we cross the line here, we're going to have 37 laps to go. So I anticipate to ramp up a little bit now with just 37 to go here from Kansas. This race is going by very quick, John.
As quickly as it's going by, Andrew Teft is coming back to the front. He's up to 6th now, just behind Schoenbachler, and he's only 2 seconds behind Zach Lockett. So Andrew Teft at this rate is going to be back in the mix for this race by the end of it.
He sure will be, and it doesn't surprise me that the 6 of Andrew Teft is already back inside the top 10. You know, he's a great driver. He runs well every week. And no matter what track we're at, he's always there at the end. So this 6 car, I keep a close eye on. Right behind him is the 4 of Dennis Kane, another strong driver that we want to keep our eyes on.
You know, I want to mention Dennis Kane. I said a little bit ago, we seem to be calling his name a lot because he's always finding himself in a battle, but he's found a little bit of breathing room now here in the 7th position. And he does have Austin Smith right behind him, but not in the same gaggle as he used to be. Austin Smith looking to the high side. Smith in the wall, not going to be able to make the pass. Last night's runner-up is going to have to regroup, try again. 45, Michael Smith coming down pit road. I do think pit stops. The pit window is open. It just depends on what you want to do. Corey Corral up 22 positions, 3rd place. Slowly but surely trying to get to the front. Andrew Teft's got his work cut out for him to get up to these leaders. Running about the same lap times as them. Well, I take that back. He's still about a 1/10 of a second faster, but he's got a 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, and 3.2 to get to the leader. But pit stops are going to make this interesting.
This is the money stop, you know. The final pit stop, you don't want to have any mistakes. No speeding coming in, speeding off. You want to have a perfect pit stop. So, and when we do run these final few laps, you are there contending for the win. That's all that matters. You contend for a win, you get as many points as you can, and have a solid run.
Well, you know what I find interesting here is, folks, you can't blame your pit crew. You have to, you can't blame the pit crew as Corral got around Alex Teft right there. It's all you as the driver. You've got to get into pit road good. You've got to get into your pit stall good. You've got to exit the stall and exit pit road as aggressively safe as possible to make as much time up on other drivers as you can. Corral up now 23 positions. Now, folks, 27 drivers started this race, and he's up 23.
Most of the field right there.
That is a majority of the field. Teft looking to battle back from the outside. Dennis Kane opting to come down pit road now, which might be very good for him, pitting from the 7th position. Going to get the short pit on some of those other guys up there. If they're not paying attention to him coming down, he might steal a couple spots.
Hey, why not? Final pit stop, try and get as many positions as possible. You see the Fort Dennis Kane there again, serviced on pit road. Right now, Shelly Kitzman still our leader here on lap 105.
And I tell you what, those drivers around him were watching. They came right down the next time by. I was going to say, I think this is a really good strategy. Still should be able to pick up about a lap or a second on those drivers that are, as he's getting the short pit right here. I just, I thought that was a really good move. It's not a race-winning move, but it's a bettering your position move. So these drivers on pit road also. Dennis Kane almost back up to speed. We're going to see how he cycles out in front of these guys. Now Andrew Teft is up to the 4th place position, only a second. Well, a second and 2/10 behind Zach Lockett for 3rd. And more drivers come down pit road. Kinsley Smith and Sean Bachler. Dennis Kane, right there. Dennis Kane getting around a couple of those drivers that he was near. That was Austin Smith that he just went around. Or not Austin Smith, that was the 26 machine of Jeremy Carter that came around as well. So we're going to see how this works out for Dennis Kane. I'm expecting it to be a net gain in position for him based on the short pit. Well, he had a long pit stop, a 16.3 second pit stop. That may not quite work out for him that way. Andrew Teft now coming down pit road for his money stop. Gonna pit early. So this is a move. This is a race-winning move, Daniel. He's gonna short pit the top 3. They have to come by this time around. Kitzman might be able to get away with waiting, but I think Teft and Lockett need to come by this time, if not next time by. Kitzman's not going to come down, and Lockett and them aren't going to come down. Teft is going to eat into this lead.
I actually agree with you. I like what Teft is doing right now. He's playing it smart, and we're going to have to see if this is going to pay off, and I do believe it probably will pay off.
That's a 15-second lap. But remember, it's about a second a lap that they're going to lose, and he was only 2 seconds behind these guys. They can't stay out here very long. And I'm not going to assume that we're going to have a caution. This was a race-winning move for Andrew Teft. And if these guys up front don't come down pit road fast, they're going to realize it when it's too late.
They're going to realize it very soon if they don't come down pit road, because they're not going to be in the lead anymore. And I feel like these drivers that are still out are going to be in serious trouble if they don't come in.
Oh, they're definitely going to be in serious trouble. Teft is going to be running 30.4, 30.3 second laps. The leaders are running 31.6s. That's nearly a second and a half that he's going to be faster. And I don't know if he just snuck down pit road and they didn't know he came down. But this is not going to go well. Teft is going to steal this race.
And remember, the driver that I pointed out earlier was going to be the 6th attempt, and look what he's doing right now. He's literally going to be up contending for a win tonight.
Well, we'll see how it all shakes out. Top 3, top 4, all opting to stay out there. I recall us staying out as long as possible. Gotta, as the lucky dog right now, I would do this, because you're hoping for a caution if you're any of these. If you're number 29, you get a caution right here, you're the lucky dog, you get your lap back. But if you outlast these guys and you're still on the lead lap and the caution comes out, you're not the lucky dog. You pit with the leaders. You don't get the tail end of the longest line. So top 3 still staying out. Teft running 30.5 second laps. Gosh, second and 3/10 faster than the leaders. I'm curious to see how this is going to cycle through. Now, Teft has a lot of ground to make up on some other drivers, such as like Dennis Kane being one of them. So Dennis Kane, Schlombachler, Kinsley Smith, a couple of these guys that pitted before him, but we know Teft has shown that he's got a little bit more speed than those drivers. 20 laps remaining.
As you see right there, AJ Coffin running inside the top 10, having a great finish to this night. Probably not going to get the race win, but having a decent, solid finish here. Right behind him is the 29 of Iron Colonhouse. Remember, was a lap down. Also having an excellent night currently inside top 10. You see the 43 of Alex Teff now come down pit road.
Yeah, a little too late, I feel like, for Alex Tept and Zach Lockett. I just 18 laps is going to be a lot to make up the ground made by everybody that short pitted them. And and right now, the way it's going to cycle out is Austin Smith is going to be a race leader. And and I'm looking at this now, and Austin Smith, the strategy used for his pit stop, he's got Corey Crowell to race with. This is the race for first right here. Austin Smith, Corey Crowell, Kitzman down pit road. I'd probably take 2 if I'm Kitzman. I don't know how the car is going to behave with 2, but 2. Nope, going left sides. But the race lead is right here. It's these 3 drivers. Teft really eating into that. Only 4.5 seconds back with 17 laps to go. I could be wrong. Alex Teft may not be able to win this race. It's going to be these guys. Smith, Crowell, Smith. This is the battle for the win right here.
Side by side, coming down the front straightaway, using that side draft, using every pavement available as you see him entering turn number 1.
And I'm going to mention Brandon Honeycutt right now, still out front, trying to put as many cars lap down as possible. But lap 74 to now, he can't stay out much longer. But it would be absolutely perfect for this driver if the caution were to come out. Austin Smith out in front over Corey Crowell by 0.3 of a second. Kinsley Smith's right there. Hef trying to cut into that gap, but just not happening so far.
See right there.
See,
Austin John Smith running
go ahead.
Decent lap.
I underestimated Austin Smith pitting and Corey Crowell pitting. They pitted 10 laps earlier than Alex Teft, and it gave them a net gain of about 5 seconds on the track, but not enough time or fall off, I think, for Teft to go get him. So Alex Teft's running 30-60. Austin Smith's a 30-70. This is the race, man. The race is these 3. Smith, Crowell, Smith. Unless Brandon Honeycutt can run a miracle, and it looks like Honeycutt's coming down pit road this time by. Pit road with 14 laps remaining is a valiant effort, just not quite enough fuel. Gonna cycle Austin Smith, last night's runner-up, to P1.
If you were to ask me if the 23 of Austin John Smith was going to win this race tonight, I would have said probably not. But he has proven us wrong here as you see him run that top lane, pulling away a little bit. But that 20 of Corey Crowell knows that he needs to get past Austin John Smith to get that win. But he has a lot of pressure from the 15 of Kinsley Smith.
Yeah, these 2 drivers battling for second. Really, I'm still going to call this a battle for first. But it's a half second between first and Crowell. What can these guys do? Do they have anything for Austin Smith? Will anybody else be able to close the gap and get there? I'm just not, unless the tires really just stop running well in the next couple seconds, I just don't expect it to be. I'm seeing a 0.4 second difference from between Alex Teft and those guys. You got Joshua Neal in between Teft and Schlomblackler, but Neal's not really putting the lap times down. And in fact, the whole top 5 just ran 31s. And Teft was 0.4 of a second faster than that, but still a 3.8 second gap I think is insurmountable with 11 laps remaining.
Laps winding down here very quickly in this long green flag run. Having great runs tonight for most of these drivers, as you can tell. See the 15 there of Kensley Smith now losing a little ground on the 20 of Corey Carell. All have a decent gap in between them. Can they catch the 23 is the question.
Starting to be to the point of too little too late with the second in between, and they're slower by 0.2 of a second. I just don't think Austin Smith is going to fall off enough for these drivers to catch him. Now, anything can happen. You still have close racing. A caution changes everything, and then any one of these top 3 or top 4 drivers can win. But, you know, the real losers here is going to be Kitzman, who led pretty much the entire race, running 7th. Your real loser is going to be Kitzman, Andrew Teft. You know, that's just kind of a heartbreaker there. You know, Zach Lockett, these guys were running up front, just pit kind of at the wrong time, and it's going to cost them.
It cost them big time. You know, we all thought that Shelly Kitzman could have won this race tonight. Unfortunately, pitted very late, which did backfire, and it's not ending the way she wanted it to. But same thing with Austin John Smith. He wasn't up leading laps earlier on this race. We didn't expect him to win, but now it's like the table flip-flopped, and now he's up front, and Kitzman is now still inside the top 10, but not where she wants to be.
Yeah, you're just not going to get the finish you want. Now, if we have a caution come out with, say, 5 laps to go, I think you're going to have to take what you got. And then I like the Kitzman machine in 7th. You know, but at this point, green flag racing, this goes to show strategy wins the race. 10 laps earlier netted Austin Smith the top position. You know, and the fall off is just huge.
Earlier on, John, I mentioned strategy's going to come into play tonight, and it sure did. And strategy did backfire on some of these drivers. Now, like you said, if a caution did come out, I agree with you. I think that Kitzman could pull something out of the bag, but unfortunately, we're just going to have a green flag finish, it looks like.
All right, coming to 5 laps to go for Austin Smith. Stepping away from these other guys, but you know what? Don't look now. Don't look now. I might have been wrong. Daniel, look at this. Alex Teft, I don't know how he did it. I didn't see it happen, but he closed the gap significantly. Significantly. Now he's 1 second behind. 4 laps to go. Can he chase him down?
Well,
0.3 of a second a lap. I don't know what happened. I missed it. I don't know if somebody hit the wall. I don't know what happened for this big run to occur. He was just a second ago 3.5 seconds down. I really wish I saw what happened. Go back here, see a pass.
Tires?
No, I feel like something must have happened. And just, yeah, I don't know, but let's get back to see what happens. Gap is now 0.4 of a second with 4 laps to go. 0.5 of a second faster per lap. So there was just enough time. Oh man, Austin Smith's gonna end up being a runner-up again. Does he have the ability to fight off Teft? Looks like he's just going to let Teft come on right down. I tell you what, you know, why did I ever doubt myself, Daniel? Holy cow, Austin Smith, trouble.
Oh, save it. And the grass comes up. Oh, slide job. Saves it.
Oh,
No.
He had it saved.
Into the wall.
I'm not seeing a caution out for that.
Looks like we're staying green so far.
We're going to have to go back and see what happened right there.
Very unfortunate for the 23 of Austin John Smith. Was running very good, but now the 43's out front.
Wow, I'm still not sure. Alex Teft's going to make it 3 for 3 at this rate. White flags in the air. Less than 30 seconds for victory for Alex Smith. Or excuse me, Alex Teft. Alex Teft made the right call. I saw it a while ago. I remember saying, you know, this is a race-winning move. And then when I saw the gap from Austin Smith to him, I just thought it was insurmountable. And boy, was I wrong. Sarah Smiles called it. Sarah Smile called it. Alex Teft wins on the lights at Kansas, making it 3 for 3. Corey Crowell, largest mover, up 23 spots on the night. Kitzman made it all the way back to 3rd. So we're going to be able to talk to Kitzman and see what the thoughts were as far as stay out, come in, and why the strategy was made the way it was. But we need to go back and see what happened here with the lead. So Teft and Austin Smith right here. The Teft to the inside. Austin Smith trying to fight here. Teft seems to have to get a shake up. Kind of, oh, it seems like, you know what, just kind of runs into the back of him and just really upsets the machine here for Austin Smith.
Very unfortunate.
We're going to watch this from the cockpit here of Austin Smith real quick. We'll see Teft passing in just a second. There he goes. It's almost like he had to get off the throttle because he's going into the wall. That's what happened. Way off the throttle, and then nowhere to go for Smith. And Smith is just trying to fight his way through this car and hang on to it. Well, that's your race, man. He made it happen. Watch the white flag. Or the checkered flag, I might add. Daniel, at this point, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and pull Alex Teft up, our race winner. That interview is going to be for you. And I'll have a couple words as well.
Okay, let's see if we can pull our race winner up.
Oh, I got him. I'll bring him in. Joining us now in the booth, our race winner, Alex Teft. Alex, you're going to be 3 for 3 on the season in the Nextgen series. When I saw you come down pit road, you know, I called it a race-winning move, but then I thought the gap was insurmountable. So how did you stay smooth the last 30 laps to catch Austin Smith for this win?
I decided to do 2 tires on that stop, and honestly, it was probably the best the car drove the whole day. I was able to actually rotate through the center very well, so just did my best to stay consistent and, you know, made it happen.
A 2-tire stop. Now, also, when you went down pit road and you noticed that Kitzman and Lockett didn't come with you, were you thinking, this is my race? Did that thought go through your mind when they stayed out?
Not necessarily. I was just really, you know, just trying to do something different because, as they say, you know, if you follow the leader, you will follow the leader.
Yeah, I mentioned that. You got to do something a little bit different in order to win the race. And then the last thing I have for you, how does this, and I'm not sure if Mike in the last couple races had asked any of you guys, what did this update look like? How was did you notice the line changing a bit through the race?
Yeah, hard to say, honestly. I have to run a lot more laps to really see if there's a difference.
Sure.
Definitely kind of, at least for me in these cars, the longer the race goes on, the more rubber gets laid down. It seems to change quite a bit.
And you know, in Kansas may not be a good track to determine that because it's very multi, I guess, groove, I would say, already. So, but anyhow, 3 for 3. I don't think we should doubt you going forward. What are your thoughts going into? You're looking at next week. Do you think you're going to make it 4 for 4, or should we expect to be talking to somebody different?
Hard to say. I definitely got myself in a little hot streak here.
Yeah, going into Indianapolis, that's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, that's definitely not one of my stronger tracks. So hopefully, hopefully I can pull it off. But I have a good feeling you'll be talking to somebody else next week.
Well, we'll find out. Before we let you go to enjoy this third victory here in a row, anyone you want to mention before we send you on your way?
Thank you guys over at Sim Racing Media, putting the show on every week. Thank the league. We've been, this season started off a little rocky, but we've cleaned it up and it's been really, really good these past couple weeks. And thank my friends that watch all the time. Thank my girlfriend, and yeah, on to next week.
All right, on to next week indeed. Looking forward to seeing the event. Enjoy your night, sir.
Hey, thank you, sir.
All right, Daniel, that was Alex Tept, our race winner. We're going to bring Corey Crowell into the booth this time. He's going to be with you. Corey, this is Jonathan. You've got Daniel here with you. Congrats on the P2 finish and your tonight's largest mover. Daniel, take it away.
Well, Corey, congratulations on a top 3 finish here tonight from Kansas. Tell us about how your car was handling throughout the race and what you could have done better to probably gone out and win this race.
Yeah, I mean, definitely qualified better. Or I mean, I didn't even qualify. I got in late. Kids had a Christmas play, so I didn't even think I was going to make the race. So got in with about 4 minutes left to qualifying, and I just said I'll just run in the back and see how it feels. I didn't think it was going to go well at the beginning, because I just kind of struggled back there. But that caution kind of fell out at the right time, got me back up there, and then it was from there. It was just kind of hitting my marks and staying consistent.
All right, and we're going to Indianapolis next week. What are your expectations, and are you ready to take on the next track?
Yeah, absolutely. I do like running to Indy, so hoping for a good week there. So hopefully we can knock Alex off his hot streak.
All right, and do you have anybody you would like to thank?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys for broadcasting as always. Racers Elite for the league, and then the teammates at Midwest Motorsports.
All right, well, congratulations on a top 3 finish tonight from Kansas, and we'll see you next week in Indianapolis.
All right, thank you.
Folks, that was Corey Crowell, tonight's largest mover, up 23 positions. You heard it, didn't think he was going to make it. Kids at a Christmas party. Gets into the race, doesn't qualify. P2. Now there's one more driver to talk to, and that's going to be Kitzman. Go ahead and bring Kitzman to the booth. Joining us now in the booth, person who led the most laps for the race, finishes P3, driver number 1, Chevy Camaro. We've got Kitzman. Kitzman, tell us what happened. Why? What do you think you could have done differently? And did you think waiting for that last pit stop was the race-winning move, or did you just not notice Alex Teft pitting 15 laps before you? Or 10 laps, excuse me.
Yeah, I think, it is what it is. At the end of the day, there's also always that chance that caution comes out and then you got no chance. You get the wave round in, and I finished P10. So, there's a plus side to it and there's a negative side. I think I definitely could have gotten Corey if I didn't get into the wall pretty hard there on cold tires. The steering just felt a little bit off after that and wasn't quite the same.
Well, you managed to find yourself back into P3, and I didn't think you were going to get that far. So kudos to you finishing third. You showed a lot of speed, outstanding race, I should say. Going into Indianapolis, what do you think you have for the field for that race?
Yeah, I really got no idea. I've never ran it before, but I think it'll definitely be a little crazy just because it's unusual and definitely takes a lot of practice, I'm assuming, to be good at it and know where to brake going into the turns. So really easy to make a mistake there.
All right. Well, Indianapolis is a fun racetrack to call. I used to enjoy racing whenever I would race it. So the one thing I know for sure is it's going to be entertaining and a lot of fun. Is there anything you would like to say or anyone you would like to mention before we go ahead and close this one out?
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting it, and obviously the Tefts putting it all together. Wouldn't be nearly what it is right now without them. And then Kinsley Smith for giving me a chance with Driving Extreme Inc. They really help out just getting together with them and talking it over and learning what we can do better to compete with everybody else.
All right. Well, we thank you for your time. I had a blast calling the race, and maybe we'll be talking to you again next week
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. Have a good weekend.
as well. All right, Daniel, that's our. Oh, I put him in the wrong spot. My bad. That is our race for the evening. Our top three: Teft, Crow, Kitzman. 2 cautions. We saw a little bit of struggles and some trouble happen as this race went down. Trouble between Andrew Teft and Evan Clapper. Clapper was our highest mover for the longest time and ended up finishing 26th. So we're gonna keep an eye on that going through the season to know if that's a possible storyline or if there may or may not be retaliation in the future. We're gonna go down through our results now. Alex Teft, Crow, and Kitzman are the top 3. Great run for Schoenbachler and Joshua Neal. Kinsley Smith, 6th. 7th belongs to Andrew Teft. AJ Cawthon is 8th. Dennis Kane is 9th. Brandon Honeycutt 10th. With Austin Smith, we saw battling for the lead. Kind of runs into the back of Alex Teft, and you see the wipeout that ensued. He finishes 11th. Jeremy Carter is going to be P12 with Paul Shaw 13th. Zach Lockett, a driver who spent a lot of time up front. Just, we got some insider information that his fast repair did not take, and he was trying to battle a damaged race car through the field. He's going to come home 14th. First car lap down is going to be Ira Kohlhaas, not for lack of trying to get back on the lead lap. Truth Hoke 16th, 17th is Jason Bottoms. Gordon Spain is 18th. Sam Kohlhaas is 19th. Michael Smith 20th. 21st belongs to Sean Lerbesky. Down to the final portion of the field, Luke Seamers, Diego Rodriguez, just another rough night for Rodriguez. Mentioned that in driver's chat that he's just having bad luck this season, and he sure is. Nigel Christensen, another driver having bad luck, 55 laps down, was P2. Something just stopped that machine, and it caused our second caution. James Smith, 25th. Evan Clapper involved in trouble with Andrew Smith earlier in the race, finishes 26th. Thomas Stanley rounds out the field, 27th. Very pleased with tonight's production and race here at Kansas underneath the lights for the Racers Elite Cup Series. Daniel, what do you think is going to happen going into Indy?
What I expect from Indy is a whole new battlefield. At Indianapolis, we don't see as tight packed races as we saw here at Kansas. It's a bigger track. We see a lot more spread out fields there. So you want to get good restarts there at Indy. Try to get that race lead, extend the lead there, because we do see long green flag runs here at Indy too. You don't want to have any pit road mistakes like what you saw tonight, because it didn't work out for some of these drivers. Strategy came into play, so I'm sure strategy's going to come into play at Indy next week. So it's a whole new playing field here next week at Indianapolis. We're just going to have to wait and see how this goes.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jonathan Leach. That's Daniel Paulus here at Sim Racing Media. Thank you for spending your time with us. and for being here for an excellent evening of racing. Our dear friend Tony Trapasso, gone, never forgotten, he would tell you as you walk through life, please do not play in traffic. Good night, and we will see you next week for more Racers Elite.